And now it's time for more of the Spanish Tutor, with your host, me, Ian the Bean. And remember, you should have paper and pen ready to take down any lists of vocab words or verbs that we need to learn. And remember, you're not going to learn Spanish just by watching these videos. You have to practice the stuff that we go over and write it down over and over and over again. This episode, we'll talk about how to talk about things you like, some basic nouns, and how to use the words a and some. First up, saying what you like and don't like. A fair way to translate I like in Spanish is me gusta. And I know what you're thinking. How can me gusta mean I like when yo means I? The answer is that this is a backward sentence, but don't worry about it. For right now, just assume that me gusta means I like. You like is translated as te gusta. To say he or she likes, le gusta. And if you were in a situation where you needed to say we like, nos gusta. You all like, les gusta. Don't worry about this form too much though, you won't be using it much. They like, les gusta. So here are the conjugations of the verb gustar, which means to like, or literally to be pleasing to. So, to say, I like to eat, and to eat translates as comer in Spanish, you would say, me gusta comer. So here's a list of activities that you can practice saying that you and other people like. And here's a list of sample sentences as well, just to help get you started. Additionally, you can add an emphasis at the beginning of each of these statements of I like or you like or he likes to clarify who the person is, especially in the case of he or she. The emphatic additions are as follows. To me gusta, you add a mí. To te gusta, you add a ti. To le gusta, you add a él or a ella, or a person's name, a Roberto, a Roberta. To nos gusta, you add a nosotros. To les gusta, you add a ustedes if you're referring to you all. Or to les gusta, you can add a ellos or a ellas if you're referring to they. So, a mí me gusta cocinar means I like to cook. A ti te gusta patinar means you like to skate. A él or a ella le gusta nadar means he or she likes to swim. A nosotros nos gusta comer means we like to eat. A ustedes les gusta cantar means you all like to sing. A ellos or a ellas les gusta dormir means they like to sleep. Again, the a mí, a ti, a él, a nosotros, a ustedes is just for extra emphasis. It's not necessary. And here's a reiteration of what I just said. And of course, to say that you don't like something, just add the word no at the beginning of the phrase. So, no me gusta nadar means I don't like to swim. No te gusta patinar means you don't like to skate. So go, practice saying that you like to do things. And here are a few extra verbs that you can use to say that you like. I've got Play-Doh to play with today. Some basic nouns. So here's a list of some other basic nouns you can use. The pants, los pantalones. The shirt, la camisa. The flower, la flor. The car, el carro. The computer, la computadora. The shoe, el zapato. The house, la casa. The backpack, la mochila. The food, la comida. And the dog, el perro. With the double R's, you do need to roll your R's, but I personally can't do that, so. Also be aware that you are going to have to know the gender of each noun. So the L or the la at the beginning, you need to know the gender of each noun. La is feminine, L is masculine. So to say I like the shoes, you would say me gustan los zapatos. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably asking where the N in gustan came from. Good question. If you're saying that you like a plural object, so there's more than one, as is true in the case of shoes, you add an N to the end of the word gusta to make the verb plural along with the noun. Don't worry about it too much, this is one of the trickier verb forms, but we're just going over the basics. Look! I made a pony! So let's talk about the gender of the nouns a little bit more. In the verb list we just reviewed, all the nouns were preceded by the word el or la, which both translate as the word the in English. El is the masculine form and la is the feminine form. Typically, masculine nouns that begin in L also end in O, but this isn't always the rule. And also, typically, feminine nouns that begin in la end in A. But again, don't always rely on that to get you by. Alright, so making nouns plural. If it starts in L, and you want to make it plural, change the L to los and add an S to the end of the noun. So, el zapato becomes los zapatos. And el perro, the dog, becomes los perros. With feminine nouns, you follow a similar pattern. Change la to las and add an S at the end of the noun. So, la mochila, the backpack, becomes las mochilas, the backpacks. And la casa, the house, becomes las casas, the houses. There are also some cases, as in the word flor, which means flower, where the initial noun doesn't end in an O or an A, and you'll have to add an ES to the end of the word to make it plural.
Now I'm a duck! Quack, quack.
And finally, the words a and some. In English, the word a never changes. You can talk about a shirt, a flower, or a car. I do recognize that the word and comes before words that start with a vowel, but this is just for aesthetic reasons. It doesn't have to do with the nature of the noun. But anyways, in Spanish, the word a changes based on whether the noun is masculine, feminine, singular, or plural. So there are 4 different forms. If the noun is masculine and singular, the word a translates as un. If the noun is feminine and singular, the word a translates as una. So, a shirt is una camisa. A flower is una flor. A car is un carro.
An orange!
And if the noun is masculine and plural, the word some is translated as unos. If the noun is feminine and plural, the word some is translated as unas. So, some dogs translates as unos perros. Some shirts translates as unas camisas. Some flowers translates as unas flores. And some cars translates as unos carros.
An orange snake?